I'm BJ Laudermilk here on Studio 122, and today I'm joined by Charlie Chitwood, who is the play-by-play announcer for Lion football and basketball here on KETR for the radio station here on campus. And we're going to be talking a little bit about his role as a sports broadcaster and also a little bit about Lion football going into the fall. So thank you for being here with us today, Charlie.
Oh, BJ, my pleasure.
So let me ask you, why did you get into the industry? Why did you want to be a sports broadcaster?
Well, I probably wanted to be one ever since I was a kid, but it was purely accidental when I moved to Jefferson back in '93 that it happened. A friend of mine was talking to the new owners of the radio station. They wanted to know how to get in with the community better. And he said, put the Bulldog games on the air on Friday nights. And they didn't know anybody. I had some PA experience during my storied baseball career at Trinity University. And that turned into a radio gig, and I paid him back by putting me on the spot by making him my color guy. 23 years later, we're still doing it, and I've been able to, fortunate enough to branch off and do a couple little bit bigger things in old Jefferson High.
Yeah. So was this your first radio job, or did you have other jobs in the industry before this?
That I was paid. You know, in college I had some of the news programming at our campus station in San Antonio. There was no play-by-play work that I did, but I always listened to the game on the radio. You know, back in the 70s when I was growing up, and the Texas Rangers are probably what lured me into it all, but listening to ball games over and over. It's that white noise of summer, and I always loved it. I was blessed with my father's gift of gab and love of storytelling, and it just goes together.
Okay, so when you're not announcing, what do you like to do in the off season? What are some of your hobbies and interests other than doing play-by-play?
Well, my wife and I live in her old family place about 5 miles outside of Jefferson, so this time of year, especially between basketball and football, I've got a lot of work to do out in the yard and keep up the pasture right around the house.
So that's what you want to do when you retire?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever retire. You know, some people just like what they do. They're blessed. I own my own company, have the Smart Bug Corporation, which is the little specialty broadcast radio. I'm a great lover of Texas history and culture. And my wife and I both like to travel quite a bit, so when we can, we do. Short trip or long, we get some of the dogs get to go sometimes, and we just load up and go.
All right, if you're just now joining us here on Studio 122, we're talking with Charlie Chitwood, who's the play-by-play announcer for Lion football and basketball on KETR, and we're talking a little bit about Lions football coming into the fall now. So, Charlie, how do you think our Lions will do this coming fall?
Well, I've already got one ring, and there's another ring on the way, and I don't have much doubt that there might not be a third one. Colby Carthel and his staff have done such a phenomenal job over there getting the Lions turned back around. And, you know, we lost some good receivers, we lost some good guys, but, you know, so many of the players last year were either true freshmen, sophomores, or redshirts of underclassmen. And those guys will be back. It's going to be an awful lot of fun to see what changes they made. You know, the playoff run, you get a little exposed to what other programs nationwide are doing and what you need to be prepared for to go up against them. So I would expect that the defense may have had the biggest transition, you know, to adjustments to make to improve. But, you know, on the offensive side, who's going to be the quarterback? And we'll just have to see how that works out.
Okay. What team are you most excited for the Lions to get another chance to battle with this year?
Oh, Midwestern State's always a fun team to play. It's even more fun to beat them. The Delta State game in Cleveland, Mississippi is going to be a great early season test. The Lions had North Alabama, another perennial national power, scheduled for the season opener, but they apparently got a bigger payday from a D1 or 1AA school to play them, so ours turned into a little bit lighter weight opponent than North Alabama's Lions. But the Delta State, Midwestern State, I think Angelo's always going to be one that you look forward to as well. And that first trip to Silver City, New Mexico to face Western New Mexico ought to be fun.
Okay, what new addition to the roster do you think is going to be the most explosive for the Lions this year?
You know, those guys might be unknown still at this point.
Yeah.
Between now and camp, I know Coach isn't out looking for as many transfers as he did for that first year of the program to get things turned around quickly. But there's always going to be room for some as the rest of the program is built up from the high school signees. That's where your long-term success is. But if you've got a 1 or 2 or 3 year guy at a JUCO that might be ready to transfer and help out, you just bring him in, and it's a surprise for everybody.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us today, Charlie.
My pleasure.
We've been talking with Charlie Chitwood here on Studio 122 about the Lion football and basketball and his time in sports broadcasting. So I'm BJ Laudermilk here on Studio 122.